And welcome back to another episode of the Penscast Recap Show. I'm Robbie with Snail again tonight, it being the evening of Monday, December 18th, 2003. The Penguins just complete a 4-3 win over the Minnesota Wild at home at PPG Paints Arena to kick off this final week before the Christmas holiday. And before we get into the scoring, I'm just going to do like we always do, toss it right over to Snail for his opening thoughts on tonight's contest.
Yep. So this is a game against a pesky Minnesota Wild team who haven't been their old selves. Their superstar Kaprizov isn't really looking like his old dominant self, and a team that kind of lacks a little bit of center depth. You'd think this should be an easy win for the Penguins, but they've got heart and grit over there in Minnesota. Bill Guerin's got pretty good club push. I'd say pulling above their weight class with the cap implications that they're in. So always a tough match against Winnie, whether you're in their barn or not. It's another kind of a game circled on the calendar because it's Ricard Raquel's first game back from his stint on the IR. The goalless Ricard Raquel, I should add. So I think everyone had eyes on him tonight. Getting shifts with Sid. Pusinen's kind of secured his spot on that second line, so I was curious to see how Raquel looked, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit more a little later on. So, Penguins coming off of a 7-0 blowout against the getting blown out by the Leafs, which I mean, I didn't. You never know. You don't know what you're going to get from this team. So a little bit nervous coming into this game, but historically they play the Minnesota Wild pretty well. So I'll pass it back to you. But overall, pretty exciting game.
Yep, hard to debate with that. A really good win tonight, and we'll take a look at the scoring here right quick. Penguins often running fast and early. 7:39 into the first period. Riley Smith finally back on the score sheet with his eighth of the year, and assisted by the aforementioned Valtteri Puustinen and Marcus Pettersson. It's 1-0 Pittsburgh in the first period. That score remained until very early in the second period, just 36 seconds in. The power play, which outside of Saturday, now three goals in 4 games, is on the score sheet. Jake Gensel gets a redirection goal off a clapper by Erik Karlsson. So Karlsson gets the assist. The second assist goes to Sidney Crosby, and it's 2-0 Pittsburgh in the second period. And less than 3 minutes later, Evgeny Malkin, another one of those second liners that has been struggling, gets back, finds the back of the net for the first time in a while, his 11th of the year. And again, there's that name, Valtteri Puustinen, who had a nice feed to set up this goal, his second assist of the night and fourth of the season. Marcus Pettersson gets in on the action as well. That's his second assist of the night, too. And yeah, the Puustinen Pettersson connection was certainly working tonight, but it's 3-0 Penguins after 3.5 minutes of the second period, and that is where the good vibes would kind of stay for a while. As Ryan Hartman breaks the shutout of Alex Nedeljkovic at 15:06 of the second period with an assist from Brock Faber, Marcus Johansson, and then just about 2.5 minutes later, Jake Middleton gets his fifth of the year from Matt Boldy and Kirill Kaprizov. And all of a sudden, it is 3-2 after 2 periods of play. That 3-0 lead has almost evaporated, and it fully evaporates just 5:33 into the third period. Vinny Lettieri, his third of the year from John Merrill and Damon Hunt. And this is where you start to wonder, is this another one of those Penguins collapses? But it turns out that it is not, because of all units to come up big, it is the power play coming up massive with another multi-goal performance. It is Sidney Crosby off a kind of scramble, weird bounce, pinball bounce in front. It lands on the stick of 87. He slides it past Gustafsson at 6:20 of the third period for his 18th of the season. Gensel, Malkin on the assist, and it's 4-3. And that 4-3 lead is what the final ends up. No empty net goals for the Penguins, though Alex Nedeljkovic did make an attempt at it, but it was knocked out of the air. So the score ends 4-3. The Penguins back in the win column after Saturday's debacle. And Snell just, I mean, when you blow a 3-0 lead, it feels like more times than not you end up losing that game somehow, some way. But not only do they come back and kind of right the ship and get the win, it's the power play coming through with the big goal to get them there.
Well, the power play is what's let them down so many times in these some of these close games. And these, you blow a lead, and for the Penguins, typically that's just a blown lead is just a loss. They don't have that. They haven't had the special teams to really help get them back into a game. But it's coming through, and it's not dynamic yet, but it's working for them. And I think you'll take that any day over what was going on the last month.
Yeah.
Carlson's fire. You can tell that they've got a more of a shoot first mentality. They're really utilizing Carlson still on that first unit, which I think is honestly the move right now, is to keep Carlson on that first unit. And yeah, I saw that they put Raquel in there on one of the power plays. I believe it was the 4-on-3 at the end of the end of the second period. I believe it was, and and he didn't look right there for some reason. He looked a little hesitant. He kind of looked like he was stuck in last month's power play, and then they kept Pustin in on that first power play unit for the other ones. And I think he looks great. I think Pustin. We recorded a podcast earlier today, and I was glass half empty, pessimistic Snail, saying that I'm not buying into any more of these pedestrian players that are, we're trying to do mental gymnastics and paint them in a light that their analytics show that they should be able to contribute something to this team. But I'll admit, after tonight, I was keeping an eye on that Puustinen, and he is steady Eddie on that second line right now. He's not a flashy player. You got Gino already there. You've got Riley Smith, who's a straight line player who can dish and shoot and finish and dangle and all of that stuff, and he's providing some stability. And on the power play too, he has one assignment out there. It's either to look for the open guy and pass, or if he gets the puck and it's a crisp pass to him down low where he's on that half wall where Kessel used to be, just shoot the damn thing. And so I will admit I like what I'm seeing out of it, but I'm not going to get too excited.
Yeah, the thing about Pustin is he may not have been always the most highly rated prospect in the Penguin system, but if you watch him during training camps or prospect camps, it's clear the shot was always there. It was going to be his calling card, the shot, the playmaking ability. He's not a huge player. He's not going to be a grinder, but he's definitely a guy that has the ability that if you put the right talent around him, a guy that he can pass to, or has the potential or has the talent to get him the puck. The shot's good. The shot's an NHL shot. It's just about everything else being around him to get him the puck and give him an outlet. And again, when those outlets are guys like Evgeny Malkin, you're going to find success. And he's like a little water bug kind of player. He's not big, but he can skate. He's fast. Not going to blow your doors off, but he can make plays. He gets open, like tonight for the first goal. A tremendous pass by Marcus Pettersson. He took a hit in the process and right on the tape to Puustinen. And Puustinen, again, in that situation, you're probably yelling, shoot, 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 shoot. But credit to a guy like that, trusting his game enough to be able to dish it on the tape to Evgeny Malkin. And Malkin's going to, no matter what Malkin's struggling or not, that puck's going to be in the back of the net 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10.
Oh, absolutely! I love the way he sold that shot too. When Puustinen he had great deception coming down that flank and sold Gustafsson on it. Malkin had a wide open net and he can score. And with Malkin's ability to score, he's never going to miss that. I also wanted to bring up, they kind of mentioned it on the broadcast today, and during the game, I couldn't help but kind of resonate with that in watching the Dragon Marcus Pettersson. Dude, that guy has turned in that trade, Daniel Sprong for Marcus Pettersson, coming out of the premier defenseman factory in Anaheim, with their, they had an eye for good D-men. He was a second round pick. Daniel Sprong was one of those prospects that was excitable within the Penguins organization, and it just it just didn't work out. I think he had a lot of maturing left to do because he kind of bounced around a bit, and he's essentially a kind of a career like third or a fourth liner at best, maybe like a third liner or fourth liner that can play some power play. But out of that trade, you've gotten a solid defensive-minded secondary or a first pair or second pair defenseman who can chip in a bit offensively. We're starting to see what a deal that was in hindsight, and we've got we've essentially not only replaced Brian Dumoulin, but I think he does a lot of things better than Dumoulin.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's definitely more mobile than Brian Dumoulin does. He has a better reach than Brian Dumoulin does. And I think, I mean, that was clearly I guess you could say, fleecing of a trade for the Penguins because the Ducks never got the best out of Daniel Sprong, and Sprong then went to he was in Washington. He was in a couple, but I think he's in
Seattle.
Seattle. I know he eventually went to Seattle, but I almost feel like there was another stop mixed in there somewhere as well. It definitely took him a ways to uh, find his game. And again, he was always a pure shot guy too. Great shot on Sprong. That was never his weakness. It was a lot of the other all around game. And yeah, Pusanen did exactly what he needed to do tonight. Great game from him. But Marcus Pettersson, it just feels like we say the same thing all the time about him. But I mean, he does this just so regularly that um, it's just something that needs to be pointed out because no matter when um, the Penguins look bad, it seems like Marcus Pettersson always looks good. Again, not saying he doesn't have any bad games, but another great one from Pettersson tonight, 2 assists. He's now up to 8 assists on the year. Um, it doesn't seem to matter who he plays with either, and I think that's valuable that you have a guy that you can move up and down the um, or the pairings like that to kind of plug him in and try him somewhere different. He just whoever he plays with, he works with.
Yeah, I think a few years ago, he was kind of more of a third pairing guy, and then he worked his way up to more of a second. And he worked well with Chris Letang at times, and the
Yep.
Swedish connection with him and Carlson just made sense. And I think I think it's the right move. He's just kind of steady Eddie. He knows his assignment, no matter who his partner is. You can always kind of count on him. Sneaky, kind of tough too. Like he's dropped the gloves with like some of the heavyweights in the league, which you don't really want him doing. I don't necessarily want him doing it, but
Yeah.
he's shown some heart out there and stuck up for some teammates. So just wanted to give some stick taps in this for Pedersen. They kind of mentioned it, like I said on the broadcast, and I was appreciative of his game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And um, just uh, yeah, great to see. Another thing, if we hyped up the power play a little bit, but the penalty kill as well. After going up 4-3, they had to kill off a redeems Hornet. It was technically a double minor, but because Ryan Hartman took a penalty at the same time, it only it only resulted in a 2-minute power play. And the Penguins penalty kill tonight again. 3 for 3 tonight. Another good showing, and yeah, again something that has been really working well for the Pens. They've not really slid back in that area.
Definitely helps we got Achari back. He's that right shot centerman, just kind of a gritty, hard person to play against on any given night. Him back in the lineup is definitely a boost to the penalty kill. Still got some players out. I think we're missing that Nieto still.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, penalty kill looked good. Power play starting to work. It's a Christmas miracle, Robbie.
It really is, and let's hope it keeps up through Christmas now because we got 2 more games until the holiday break. So let's hope they can keep it up because they're two big games starting. We have 2 days off now. Thursday night they are at home again against the Carolina Hurricanes. They've already dropped one to the Hurricanes this year, but um, a chance for a little payback here. And then on Saturday it is going to be an Ottawa Senators team under new leadership.
That's right. Jacques Martin and Daniel Alfredson behind the bench now after DJ Smith has been relieved of his coaching duties. Long rumored that he was going to be out. And they're bringing in someone that's familiar, two guys that are very familiar with the organization and probably have a big voice inside that locker room.
Yeah, I mean, you have a franchise legend, Daniel Alfreton, taking over an assistant role. Ottawa had a lot of hopes coming into this season to get back in the playoffs, and it's just been pretty much a train wreck in the Canadian capital. And they're going to try to right the ship as much as possible. But again, the Penguins, 2 games really. If you want to be in the playoffs, these are 2 games you got to win. Carolina is not um, as good this year, at least not starting as good this year. That's a game the Penguins can and should win. And Saturday is a game that it's another not even can win, as a game you should win.
Absolutely. I mean, Ottawa, this was a team that was supposed to be rumored to be one of the teams pushing out a team like the Penguins, like the Capitals. This was supposed to be a team that was making it tough on the team, like a veteran laden team like the Penguins. But that has not been the case this year. In fact, it's been far from it. They're back at the bottom of the league, and they're emotional and frustrated up there in Ottawa. So, and Carolina, that team is in a bit of turmoil as well. They kept all their their big defensemen. They kept that Pesci guy. They added a couple of they added that Michael Bunting, Dmitry Orlov. Who else did they add? A couple other guys. They still got Burns there. Like this was their all chips are being pushed all in this year, and it has kind of not gone as expected. Absolutely has not gone as expected. So if this is a serious team right now, if this is a Penguins crew that is building towards making a run, these are you need 4 points. You need the power plays working, the penalty kills working, the 5-on-5 was never not working. You got some injuries, yes, to the detriment of the Penguins lineup, but they're they can get it done. So let's hope that it's a fortuitous couple of games before the holiday break. Quickly, Robbie, I also wanted to bring up. We got to talk about the fans chanting for wanting Flower
Yeah,
in net, and his.
absolutely.
This might be the last time he's ever in PPG Paints Arena.
Yeah, at least as a player, and it was
Right.
kind of broke. It kind of broke earlier where they were going with Gustafson in goal, and Fleury kind of um, didn't really have much to say about it. He said that he pretty much says the right call. He's playing better than I am right now, but Fleury, obviously beloved in Pittsburgh and always will be. So it's definitely an interesting decision, but they do have back-to-back games, so they go with Gustafson tonight. Fleury, I'm assuming, will go in the next game. He's still 4 wins shy of second place all time. But yeah, the fans definitely let it be known who they wanted to see tonight in goal.
You think he would have gotten cheers when he made saves if he was in?
Uh, Maybe at the beginning, he definitely would have got cheers if he would have been like, say the Penguins make it 4-0 and they pull Gustafson. Then I could see they definitely get cheers when um, he would have come onto the ice. But for each save, maybe like the first one, like a little Bronx cheer kind of thing. But
Right.
um, no, I mean they're still going to cheer for the Penguins, but they definitely wanted to see old 29 back in between the pipes tonight.
I'm not gonna lie, I did too. But
Yeah.
Minnesota's in a position where they need wins, dude. Like they're trying to make
Oh yeah.
playoffs. They're
Oh
not
yeah.
trying to fuck around. I'm sure Bill Guerin would have been furious if Heinze, their new coach behind the bench, pulled some crap like that. But I got to admit, I wanted to see Flower in there, and I wanted the Penguins to put a few up on him and see him get fired
Yeah.
up. But you know what? I'm sure this isn't, even if this is the last time he's in PPG as a player, it's probably not the last Penguins fans are going to hear of a guy like Flower in coming years.
Correct. Absolutely.
Well, I think that'll wrap it up. So,
Yep.
Penguins a 4-3 victory. Nedeljkovic almost got another goal or a goalie goal. I was
Yeah.
hoping for that to happen, but Boldy high sticks it and ruins that for us. Couple of games coming up on Thursday and then on Saturday. And we got a mailbag drop in part two. We record on Thursday, so it'll drop Friday.
Correct. Yep. Part two will drop on Friday. We dropped we recorded part one before the game, so it'll be out sometime on Tuesday as well. So look out for that.
Yep. Well, Robbie, I think unless you got anything
I got
else,
nothing else.
we'll wrap
Um,
this up.
yeah, we'll see you Thursday night for another recap. Penguins 4-3 victors over Minnesota. Thursday night, Carolina's in town. Then the Penguins go to Ottawa on Saturday, and then we head into Christmas. So for Snail, I'm Robbie. Pens win 4-3. We'll talk to you guys later this week.